Hey guys, how's it going? It's Douglas here at Driveway Productions, and today I'm going to be showing you guys some more vintage Scream goodies. So guys, I can't believe I'm standing here making another one of these already. It feels like the scores have just been absolutely rolling in this season. It's been really crazy. I would say so far 2020 has probably been the best season as far as scores for me. There's been a lot of crazy finds in the wild, a lot of crazy marketplace scores, a lot of crazy eBay finds, and also just some other crazy stuff here in between. So guys, let's celebrate Screamoween by looking at some more vintage Scream and Ghostface goodies. Now the first couple pieces from today are from my friend Austin Lindemann. If you guys don't know him, he runs Lindemann Haunt. Go check him out. He makes some really awesome pieces, and I've been following him for a very long time, but I've never purchased anything from him or done any trade deals. And recently he hit me up with a couple Scream pieces he was looking to trade, and we were able to come to an agreement, so I'll go ahead and show you guys what I got. So the first piece is one of these sculpted burlap Scarecrow Ghostface masks. So the sculpted burlap, some of you may know, also is the costume mask. Of course, there were so many different versions of the Scarecrow Ghostface, it's kind of crazy to even think about. We had some that actually had fiberglass, I think it was, or like a hard resin mold, and then you had burlap over it. Some of them were more the softer vinyl types, but also had burlap. And then there were these that had the sculpted burlap and the actual burlap hoods. As far as I know, these are the ones for the costumes, but there were also a different variant, I think, that had like printed fabric that looked like burlap, but it was just polyester probably. And there were a few different sizes for these masks as well. There were like adult versions and then there were child versions. I don't know if you guys can tell from the size of it next to my head, but I think this is a child version. It looks to be slightly smaller than most of your standard Ghostface types, so there's a good chance that it is a child costume mask. I used to have a majority of the versions of the Scarecrow Ghostface, however over time all those have been sold or traded away, and I do really like this. Out of all the different iterations, I think the Scarecrow kind of works the best. Like even with the zombie and the mummy, I think the Scarecrow probably works the best out of all of them. And yeah, I just wanted another one for the collection, so Austin, huge thank you for that. But that's not even the main object that we traded for. The main thing that we traded for actually is a costume. So here we have a very rare, very short-lived time period Scream Stalker costume. I don't know if you guys can tell in the background, but I've actually got a few different stylish Stalker costumes kind of running up the top of the collection. And I've owned quite a few Stalker costumes. There are many different variants, and I haven't even owned probably half of them, but there's so many. And this is one that I also have never owned before. Kind of hard to see because of the glare, but we just have a large image of Ghostface here, the same one that's used on the Stalker costumes. And at the bottom it says as seen in the motion picture Scream, so pretty much a as seen in Scream era. But this was actually produced at a very unique time period. I don't know 100% for sure, but I'm pretty confident that these were made right after the Fearsome era and right before the As Seen in Scream era. So in between Scream 2 and 3, they were still trying to figure out exactly how to market these masks and costumes to people to let them know that it was used in Scream. Because obviously prior we just had the Fantastic Faces and the Fearsome Faces, and yeah, we didn't have the As Seen in Scream block yet. But I think they produced these for a short period of time and then afterwards went back to the classic like pink or purple tag, like what we've known Fun World tags to look like, and they just did the As Seen in Scream style. So yeah, just another great addition. And what's actually interesting about some of these old Scream costumes is most of them didn't include gloves. I know that's really weird, but most of them did not. But what's funny is if you look at some of the old Stalker costumes, some of them have like a glow star like this one that says mask included, but it will be like, includes a special gift, includes gloves, or something along those lines. It's pretty weird and crazy just to think that like, yeah, you get most of the costume, but you don't get the gloves, you gotta get those yourself. Or maybe that's just my age showing on how weird it was to me, because all the costumes I had throughout the time I was growing up always had the gloves included, so I thought that was just a standard thing. And as for the mask that's included, if we turn it around here on the back, you'll see a lot of staining and pink and purple stains. That's actually something that's only on the plastic bag. It was probably wherever it was stored prior, something was up against it and stained the plastic, but nothing inside has been damaged. The mask that's included here is a second generation FWD, which is Fun World Div, stamped Stalker costume mask. Now, those are quite different. If you were just to look at the mask mold type and compare that to a standard shrouded mask, it would be known as probably like a Fearsome Faces. But without that, this is, of course, just a stalker mask. Fearsome Faces refers to the tag that was used, and these obviously were never tagged, and also they don't include the full shroud, it's just the bib. But still, it's a vintage mask and another Gen 2 to add to the collection, along with another rare costume variant. Alright guys, and we're going to go ahead and move right along into the next package that I received. Now this one is pretty much the meat and potatoes of this video. This was a crazy score. I really didn't believe it whenever we found these, and you'll see why. But before we get into that, I just wanted to say a quick thank you to Jimmy Theodo at Museum of Random for actually helping me out and going to pick these pieces up for me in person. Had he have not made the trip to go pick these up and ship them to me, I probably would not have gotten them. So Jimmy, thank you so much yet again. You guys know Jimmy, he's done tons of sticker designs for me. He's a pretty awesome dude. If you're not already following him, what are you doing? He's a great graphic design artist. And speaking of great graphic designs, check this out. Jimmy actually threw in a drawing on the box. Here's a little sketch of Herbie, and it says, "What's your favorite scary movie?" And Jimmy drew this for me while he was in line. And also, for those of you who don't know, any drawings that you send me, fan art or otherwise, including like just random bullshit sketches like this on the side of a box, I keep that stuff. As you can see, I cut it out, I kept the sketch. I actually have a majority of the sketches, if not all of them, that I've been receiving ever since I started doing this YouTube thing. So if you guys ever want to send me packages, or you do send me packages, I encourage, send me a drawing, send me a sketch. I love that kind of stuff. But anyways, back into this box, let me show you guys what I got. And so, here's the mask I was shown. And at first sight, I thought, wow, that's a wonderful Gen 2 poly shroud. And then I noticed, that mask is actually tagged. So guys, what we have here is from the very same era as the costume that I just described, a black Asus tagged Fearsome Faces, or technically a Gen 2 poly shroud. At this point, just to be a bit more descriptive, people are trying to call things by their actual names or what they actually are. So this would have been a mask from the Generation 2 mold that's poly-shrouded and was produced, I believe, right after the Fearsome Faces line, technically. And of course, it's not tagged Fearsome Faces, but it's that same style of mask. This is actually a very rare tag type. Few of these have ever popped up, and I used to have one back in the day, and I've only owned one, and unfortunately it was super yellowed. Like very yellowed. It was definitely in a smoker home of some sort. And I think the mask could have benefited from retrobrighting, but at the time period I didn't alter any masks or anything, and I really didn't think to use retrobrighting on masks. So I ended up selling that one or trading it away, I don't remember which. And yeah, I had to pick up another one of these. Mostly, I was interested in picking it up because I had just received the costume, and I'm like, wow, that's the same style mask with tag from the same time period as the costume I just received. It would be really awesome to have them together. So I get to talking to this gentleman a little bit more, and I'm like, hey, I'm very interested, I'll buy it from you. And we were discussing the details of it, and he says, actually, I've got a ton more screen masks. So I'm not really expecting too much. I'm thinking, oh, he's probably got some other masks. Maybe they're Fearsomes, maybe they're Fantastics. Who knows? We'll have to see. Maybe they're just EU stamp pieces. And a majority of the pieces they found were, in fact, EU stamped spider tag style masks. So I wasn't really expecting much, but he did happen to find a couple more masks exactly like the one that I was interested in buying. So I ended up with not one, not two, but three of these black tagged ASIS Gen 2 masks. I was super stoked about it, and when they came in, they were absolutely filthy. I really don't know where they were kept or in what condition, but they weren't kept up very well. There's actually some staining on some of these. I'm not sure exactly which one. This one has the best mask out of the lot, but it has the most damaged tag, and then this one has the best tag, but it's the most damaged mask. It's got some stains on the forehead and stuff. But I mean, even for the price and having to get Jimmy to go pick them up for me, it was absolutely worth grabbing. But it doesn't just stop there, because while Jimmy was actually on his way to go pick those up for me, the gentleman happened to find one more. Except this one was untagged, but still, it's very nice. And this one actually has the best shape out of all of them, in my opinion. It looks really awesome. And aside from some small shroud issues, and I mean just like a couple threads going loose here or there, it's pretty damn nice. And the thing that was really striking about this one that was super unique is this is a Gen 2 mask with a poly shroud, but it has hand-cut eyes. That's something you don't see very often. Now this struck me as very odd, and I think it's a very, very rare case because I've owned Fantastic Faces Gen 1s and Gen 2s that had hand-cut eyes and machine-cut eyes, but as far as I knew, by the end of the Gen 2 era, they were pretty much only machine-cut. They weren't hand-cutting masks anymore. But this is a mask with a poly shroud. It is a Gen 2, but it has a poly shroud, and it has hand-cut eyes. So very, very unique, very rare, strange mask indeed, but absolutely gorgeous, and I was happy to pick this one up as well. Alright guys, I think we're almost wrapped up here. For the most part, this video was only on masks. We did have that one costume, but other than that, everything else has been masks, and I have one more mask to show you before we get out of here. So the last package of the day comes to us from my friend Chris Wilson, also known as HorrorWolf96 on Instagram. Yet again, a lot of you who are watching probably know Chris. He's an awesome collector, awesome cosplayer, a huge Scream fan, and he's just a fan of tons of other horror stuff as well. Tons of variety. If you aren't following him already on Instagram, go check his stuff out. Chris and I have been friends for many years, and we've sold and traded stuff back and forth quite a bit. And recently, Chris finally got lucky and struck gold. But before I show you that mask, I want to show you this amazing piece of artwork that Chris did. Guys, look at this. This thing is absolutely amazing. Chris is also a really, really awesome artist. I have a ton of his pieces hung up in my bedroom. I don't get fan art very often, but when I do, I always love it. But this piece absolutely blew me away. This is all just him sketching with a Sharpie, and it looks ridiculous. For those of you who are in the know, you can probably tell this is me. This is the Drown Ghoul. This is the Drown Ghoul from the Drown Ghoul V2. One of my favorite masks, and that provided some really, really awesome pictures whenever I was wearing that thing quite a bit. And this is a drawing of one of the shots that I had taken, and it looks absolutely amazing. So I said it before and I'll say it again, if you guys ever want to send me artwork, fan art, or just art of things that I love and enjoy, I always like to have that kind of stuff and I always welcome it. So Chris, thank you so much for this. I will absolutely get it framed up and it will go with the other pieces. Alright, and here we have it. Here's the mask. Can you guys tell what it is? Oh, it's still going. It's got a droop hood. Looks like a masking cape, huh? Fun World mask and cape, you got the droop hood there, everything else. No, wrong. It's some weird other fucking mask. So I don't know anything about this whatsoever. I did see that it had a stamp on the top that says it's made by Rubies, but it's this really weird, like, distorted skull mask that's gotten warped over the years, which only makes it cooler. And the sculpt on this thing is absolutely amazing. It's like half ghost, half skull. It's like somewhere in between. It's almost like a ghost or a gull. Yeah. But yeah, this is super freaking weird. I've never seen one of these. It's got like a full deluxe style hood, just like an old droop hood or deluxe hood mask and cape that Fun World would have produced, but it's not produced by Fun World. Chris actually got this in a lot of masks, and I'll show you the other piece that came along with it, but Chris sent this to me as a gift because he was just going to throw it away, and I was like, dude, that thing is absolutely amazing. I'll give it a home, and I didn't even know at the time that it had this whole mask and cape nonsense attached to it, so that's just even cooler. Alright, and now to show you guys a mask that is significantly less cooler than that one. This is the final piece of the video, and this is the main piece that I got from Chris. Here we have a nice Gen 1 Fantastic Faces. So at the moment, this is the only Gen 1 Fantastic Faces that I own. Well, besides the pink one back there. But this is the only white or normal ghost face style Gen 1 peanut-eyed or weeping ghost that I currently own. And Chris recently got super, super lucky and found this in a lot not far from his house. I think it was like a 6-minute drive away. And he found it online and it was like freaking out, you know. Because I mean, everybody, especially if you're a Scream fan, which I mean, if you're watching this and you're not a Scream fan, maybe you will be. So maybe you'll get to experience it. If you ever find a Gen 1 for a good price or find it in the wild or something like that, just any kind of old vintage Ghostface mask, you tend to freak out. I know I freaked out for the better part of 30 minutes whenever I found that pink Fantastic. And Chris was freaking out all the way to go pick this thing up, absolutely amazed and blown away by the fact that he had finally found a Gen 1 Fantastic in the wild. And then all those hopes and dreams and all that happiness that he had about this piece was absolutely destroyed whenever he picked it up and found out that the mask itself was also pretty destroyed. So at a first glance, you would think that's a really awesome Gen 1, really gorgeous shape, a little bit yellowed, and I didn't even notice that in the pictures, but yeah, it's a slightly off-yellowed mask. Absolutely amazing hand-cut eyes, looks really, really gorgeous. Overall, just a really, really great mask. Except for a couple issues. One is we have right here on the cheek a nice little pink or purple stain that Can't be removed with retro brighting, so that'll always be there. And then you look a little closer, and oh, what's that on the mouth? Oh no, the mouth is cut. It's got like a tiny, and I mean just a tiny, maybe that big, a little slice that goes from where the normal mouth cut is to the outside of the mouth. It's not too bad. It's not noticeable when wearing it or when it's on display. But you know what is pretty noticeable? This. This is a problem. I don't know if you guys can really tell what's going on here, but most of the tassel that was attached to the front of the mask is now removed from the mask. And I think, oh no, that's actually not too bad. It's just where the tassel's been ripped. But what I think has caused this on a lot of these vintage masks is people, like myself, that have fat ass heads, try to put these on and try to tie the tassels in the back, and it's just too much stress and it pops a seam right there where the mask is attached. I also happen to notice, and much to Chris's dismay after he received it, that the top of the shroud is ripped wide open. Yeah, pretty much from where the mask starts all the way to this point, this far. You can see my fingers in it. Yeah, the whole thing is split. Now luckily it's not really a rip or tear. Like I said, the fabric isn't damaged. It's mostly just from the string coming undone, so it's probably somebody who popped a seam on this thing yet again. But yeah, Chris really wasn't too happy with the damage whenever he saw it, so he was kind of a bit let down by it. Plus he already has a really nice Gen 1 for himself, so he said, hey, you know, I'm going to end up selling it. And we were actually, I think, in a call at the time whenever he found the mask. So I was like, hey, I'll buy it from you. I don't have a Gen 1 currently. And I was like, even with all the damage, I could go ahead and restore it. And if nothing, even if it's just a Gen 1 I keep and it sits on the shelf, it'll be fine. But I really wasn't too concerned with the damage, and I figured, you know, this one is so massacred and it has such a nice mask attached to it that I would hate to see it just sit here in disrepair. So I'm probably going to try and sew up the hood, and I'll probably just leave the mask the way it is. It might end up getting a retro brighting treatment, but I think that'll be about it. But yeah, I think that about wraps it up for today's video. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, and one last thing. 9,000 subscribers before Halloween. I'm so close. I'm already at 8,900. I think we're actually the first 15 into that, like 8912, 8915, somewhere in that area. So if you guys are watching out there right now and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. We're so close, and don't forget Halloween special this year as well. But yeah, like I said, I think that wraps it up, so I love you all. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.